Kenya is among the 30 high-burden countries globally, and among the top 14 with high burden of 3 diseases: TB, HIV, and TB-HIV. Despite gains against the TB epidemic in Kenya in 2017, an estimated 169,000 people fell ill with the disease, and only about 50% of them were tested and enrolled for treatment. In addition, TB was responsible for an estimated 29,000 deaths, becoming the 4th largest cause of death during that year. Moreover, TB disproportionately affects the most marginalized and powerless members of society, including the poor, people living in low-income and urban settlements, children, and people living with HIV. TB, a preventable and curable disease, continues to cause untold suffering, loss of life, and financial catastrophe for thousands of people in Kenya. In Kenya, TB is the 4th leading cause of death, with an estimated 169,000 people falling ill with TB annually. TB, therefore, is not only a medical problem, but also a social-economic one, which disproportionately affects our poor. With the support of the Global Fund and other partners, a total of 1.2 million Kenyans have been diagnosed with TB, and 1 million TB patients treated successfully over the last 10 years. This has averted over 500,000 deaths and placed Kenya as a global pathfinder for TB control. This has been achieved through the availability of TB diagnosis and treatment services across all public health facilities, and most recently, the use of the innovative gene-expert technology for rapid diagnosis of TB and its drug-resistant variant. HIV is globally recognized as a major risk factor for the development of TB. 10 years ago, 60% of all reported TB patients in Kenya were HIV co-infected. In recognition of this, and with the support of the Global Fund and other partners, the Ministry of Health rolled out collaborative TB-HIV activities, and in the past 5 years, over 94% of patients with TB have been tested for HIV, and over 93% placed on life-saving antiretroviral therapy. Through these interventions, Kenya's TB-HIV co-infection rate has significantly dropped to 30%, half of what it was 10 years ago. Moving forward, my administration's Big Four agenda, a blueprint for Kenya for the next 5 years, targets projects and interventions in 4 key pillars, namely manufacturing universal health coverage, affordable housing, and food security. When fully realized, these Big Four will boost manufacturing, ensure food security, and decent, safe, and affordable housing, and these measures are expected to lead to a decline in the burden of TB in Kenya. Universal health coverage will ensure zero catastrophic costs to TB patients, as envisioned in the World Health Organization-endorsed global strategy to end the epidemic of TB. With universal health care, the promise is to bring these catastrophic costs to 0%. Kenya is providing leadership in ensuring universal health coverage to all, and therefore calls on other member states to follow the same. Other mitigation measures that my government is offering include free TB treatment and diagnostic services to all patients. Drug-resistant TB patients receive a monthly stipend, and malnutrition TB patients receive therapeutic and nutritional supplementation. With these interventions in place, I believe that the TB burden will be used as a key indicator to track the success of implementation of our development agenda. Despite the fact that TB infections are on the decline, the rate of decline is not fast enough to meet our goal of ending TB by 2030. I therefore commit to providing the necessary support and resources to ensure that TB diminishes as a public health threat in Kenya by 2035, as currently envisioned by the Global End TB targets and the declaration of the first WHO Global Ministerial Conference on Ending TB in the Sustainable Development Era, that was held in Moscow in 2017. In conclusion, therefore, Kenya is in full support of the resolution, and we commit to working tirelessly towards the realization of the commitments contained therein and those contained in the Sustainable Development Goals. I thank you.
I thank His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, President of the Republic of Kenya,